What are these? Okay, so let's go to anong motion? Okay. So if there's no objection from the committee members, we will now archive House Bill number 7378, which was referred to this committee. This is entitled An Act Postponing the May 14, 2018 Synchronized Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan Elections, amending for the purpose Republic Act number 9164 as amended by Republic Act number 9340, Republic Act number 10656, and Republic Act number 10923, and Republic Act number 10952. Mr. Senate President.
I so move.
Okay. So
House Bill 7378 and the proposed Senate Resolution 376 as well.
we
We archive.
archive for being moot and academic. So there being no objection, the chair rules that we do so. But the proposed Senate resolution is about calling on the Senate to immediately constitute and convene the JCOC on the AES, which we have already done. Okay, so let's now proceed to our pending bills. On the local absentee voting, and let's discuss it together with the early voting. So maybe in the discussion we can distinguish the two concepts. So Senate Bill number 301, Senate Bill number 1111, and House Bill number 5661. So can we get the inputs? Let's start with the chair of the COMELEC, who is here, Chairman Sherif Abbas.
Good morning, Chair, members of the committee. I would like to call, Mr. Chair, the Director of the ECAD for us to give our comment on the proposed bill. Maybe it's for Director Abaya. Yes, sir.
Director Abaya, yes, you've been recommended by the chair to be recognized. So please, here, next to Attorney Mr. Oxales.
Good morning, Senate President, Honorable Senators, ladies and gentlemen. Insofar as the bill proposed by the Honorable Senator De Lima, sir, considering that the bill proposes for the local absentee voting for members of the AFP and the PNP, we would like to inform the honorable body that there is already a law providing for local absentee voting for the members of the AFP and the PNP. Particularly Section 12 of Republic Act 7166. Insofar as the members of the media are concerned, we also have a law already passed, which is Republic Act 10380. In the bill proposed, there is also an extension, proposed extension of the system to election lawyers, including their support staff, and also the electoral staff of candidates for the national posts. Yes, sir. So, on these personalities, we still do not have a law. So, our comment, sir, is that maybe we could just ask for a definition of who are considered the electoral staff of the candidates, so that we can properly identify them when they will apply for the system once the law is passed. Another thing, sir, we noticed in the proposed bill that only lawyers for candidates for national positions are allowed. How about the lawyers for candidates for local positions? Yes, sir. And also for lawyers for political parties. They may also want to avail, considering that all of these are similarly situated. We also have a question, sir, on how many lawyers or electoral staff should be allowed. Because under the proposed bill, it only states here that they should not be more than the total number of local government units. Our question, sir, is should we not provide for a limit per political number of applicants per political unit or subdivision instead of a general number or limit? And also, sir, we would like to inquire from the committee, how about extending also the system, the privilege of because in our committee, sir, we have received requests, particularly from the National Grid.
Pimentel and Senate President Tito Soto, they were discussing a hearing on election issues. They wanted to discuss absentee voting versus early voting.
That they are not government officials. So probably the committee can also look into that. Also, we have requests from security guards, from medical practitioners who are on duty during election day. So that will be our comments, sir, for this bill. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, but this bill, I think, already provides the maximum number because we know the number of provinces, we know the number of cities and the municipalities. So, hindi lang niya na-specify yung actual number, but we can compute that, right? What is the name of your committee, Director?
The Committee on Local Absentee Voting, sir.
Committee on Local Absentee. So, any other comments on the bills on local absentee and early? Director, can you make of record the distinction between local absentee voting and early voting? Because there is a bill on early voting. Magkaiba po yun, right?
Yes, sir.
Sige.
Sir, under the current system of local absentee, only the positions for national, only the candidates for national positions are elected. And those who apply are those who are assigned outside their places of registration. Whereas in early voting, those who apply, or those who want to avail of this system, can apply and vote in their areas of registration. And they can vote for local positions. So, in the local absentee voting, the counting of the ballots cast is done at the central office. Whereas, yes, by our committee, sir. Whereas, in the early voting system, the counting will be done in the respective precincts where the applicants or the voters voted.
And we do not have yet an early voting system.
As of now, sir, none yet.
Yeah, and while we already have a local absentee voting system.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So, any other inputs, observations from our guests? I'm not expecting from the media, but from the about those involved, like Namfrel, sir, Mr. Barrios. Mr. Barrios, please state your organization, sir.
Sorry. I'm from the Center for People Empowerment, CENTEC. I'm a fellow. My only have a suggestion. I don't know the system or process provided for absentee voting, but I should like to suggest na ingatan po mabuti yung controls. Medyo maapektuhan po rito yung mga batch controls, which we do normally to ensure that the total votes cast is equal to the total votes issued. Yun lang po ang aking suggest. Thank you.
Tsaka, Director Abaya, no? Abaya. For example, there will be 80 candidates for senator. I-simplify na natin, 1,000 yung total number of possible electoral staff nila. So you will have 80,000 new voters in your local absentee voting. Do you foresee a problem with this? How many voters do you have currently in the last election?
In the 2016 election, sir, there were about 24,000
Tama, 20,000 plus
who
na yan.
applied. Yes, sir.
Yes, di ba? 20,000. Now, magta-times 4 or times 5 ka. Can the committee handle it?
Yes, sir. We do not find any problem with that. We can accommodate them.
That's why they cannot agree 50. That's why they cannot agree 50.
Any other? I would like to acknowledge the presence of the minority leader, Senator Frank Trilon.
Local sila.
Mr. Frank, okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir, Mr. Senate President.
perhaps the information that we have gathered would give your committee enough data or input to finalize whatever the committee would prefer doing for Senate Bill 301, 1111, and 5661. Thank you.
But this system of early voting requires or necessitates another round of registration. Tama po ba yan, Director Abaya?
We only need to gather a list or make a list of who will apply from among those who are PWD senior citizens. But they are already registered. They should already have applied for registration in the regular registration proceedings, sir.
Well, since we don't have an early voting system now, so there are already PWDs and senior citizens in our voters
Registry,
list.
yes, sir.
How will they now? Let us say we adopt this into law. How will they now apply for this one? Another round.
Yes.
You will designate a period where they will now register.
Yes, sir. For them to file their manifestation to avail, because this is only in addition to their, if they want to to vote in the regular precincts, or whether to apply for early voting.
Okay, so we will now leave those three bills because unless there are other inputs, so no more. So let us now proceed to the privileged speeches of the Senate President, which raises 4 issues, which I will summarize as follows. Number 1, early transmissions in the 2016 elections. Early transmissions, an access of a foreign server into our election server, queuing servers, and then the untransmitted election returns. Okay. So, Senator Soto, the Senate President.
Mr. Chairman, may we ask that the COMSEC give the oath to all the resource persons and all the invited guests.
Okay, since this has a fact-finding nature also, so the committee secretary, Attorney Mendiola, will now administer the oath to all of you, just so that you will be free to participate in the discussion or to share what you know about this issue.
May all resource persons please stand up and raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this proceeding? Thank you.
Can I ask the committee secretary to name the new arrivals? So that for the record, so Mr. Gus Lagman is already here. PD of Transparent Elections. Who else?
Attorney Ivan John Uy, Mr. Edmundo G. Casino, Mr. Edison M. Diaz, Mr. Ramon Casiple, Police
Okay.
Senior Superintendent Miranda, Attorney Attorney Demostines B. Donato, Mr.
Okay na. Okay, so nabanggit
Yes.
na. They all took their oath.
Thank you.
Okay, I will now, at this point, I will now recognize the Senate President to deliver the two privileged speeches.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you for calling this public hearing. It's many have awaited this chance to be enlightened on the two privileged speeches that I delivered. So, with your permission and with the permission of our colleagues, may I go direct to the questions because I'm sure they all had copies of the privileged speeches. So my first question is directed to both the COMELEC and to Smartmatic. Gentlemen, on March 2018, I should say, I requested COMELEC for the logs of its domains name server DNS named CNPA DNS. However, what was given by the COMELEC were statement of votes and not the computer logs. These were submitted to Senator Escudero. And recently I was informed that COMELEC on April 12, 2018 provided a snapshot of the logs to Senator Escudero as chairperson of the JCOC. Can you also provide us now a copy of these logs? These logs were the early transmissions that I mentioned in my privilege speech, which started on May 8th, one day before election, and a number of them. So, can you give us also provide the Committee on Electoral Reforms a copy of these logs, COMELEC?
Yes, sir. We can give you the copy of the logs.
Can we have it done?
Okay. Wala po, sir, ngayon. But I think within the week, sir, we can provide the logs. Tomorrow, we can give it.
The logs that you have and the ones that you submitted to Senator Escudero, are they complete?
Good morning, Your Honor. The request of the JCOC was for us to give even just a snapshot of the DNS logs, and that is what we did, Your Honor. But we can provide this committee with a complete log by tomorrow afternoon, sir.
So, do I take it that you're saying that the ones that you have and that the ones that you submitted to the JCOC are complete?
No, sir. It's just a snapshot, meaning we just printed several pages. We did not.
Starting from what day?
I'm sorry, sir, I could not recall, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I was expecting COMELEC to be present today in this hearing, complete with answers and ammunition. Hingi na tayo hihingi. They'll give us in a few days. Paano naman mangyayari sa atin dito? What will the people think?
This is Mr. Senate President. This is what I have gathered from the Secretariat. They submitted logs, but starting May 9, 17:15, so that means 5 p.m. 5 p.m. na to, 5:15 p.m. While the issue is early transmission, the relevant date would be May 8, 2016. So it's true that they submitted logs, but it's not on the relevant date, Mr. Santos.
All right, so it is confirmed that the logged activities that they have and submitted started only in the afternoon of May 9, 2016, Mr. Chair, if that is what is in our possession.
Yes, that is what I see, sir.
All right. In that case, to Comelec and Smartmatic, can you verify the logs that I have in my possession, which are dated May 8 and then May 9 a.m., early morning of May 9? Can you verify these logs? And are these logs logs of the CNTA DNS?
Your Honor, I saw
Director
the...
Tolentino.
We have a copy. My any resource person that I invited have copies of these secure logs, Mr. Chair, and also the lawyer of my source is also here. So in case do we have it? Yeah. So can you verify these logs, Comelec or Smartmat?
Attorney Tolentino.
Thank you, sir. Sir, we saw that in the as one of the in the presentation of the privilege speech, Your Honor. And while it appears to be the same log that we have, we still have to verify it. The logs are too many, sir. It's very voluminous, and we'll just have to verify each and every one. And if I may be allowed to add, sir, we gave the Senate Electoral Tribunal a complete set of the logs because we were subpoenaed.
Yes, but you submitted the logs starting May 9.
No, sir, for the SET. For the SET, it was complete, sir.
Complete.
Yes, sir.
But that's a separate body from the Senate. You see, Mr. Chair, the logs are footprints of the activities of one system. Now, one example which is an activity from a certain DCM transmitting to the Municipal Board of Canvassers, canvassing in a consolidating center of Tugaya, Lanao del Sur, at 1:12 a.m. of May 9, prior to the opening of the election. So, how can you explain this? And as you said, the early logs that I am showing, sabi ni Mr. Tolentino, ni Executive Director Tolentino, too many. Therefore, hindi na kagad tama yung sinabi ng spokesman ninyo na testing transmission. Too many.
So the logs would contain all the activities done to the BCM. So that would include the testings made, such as the final testing and sealing or the transmission diagnostic tests.
Well, final testing and sealing May 2 to 6, if I'm not mistaken, 2016. When is this transmission
Yes, sir.
diagnostic test?
The final testing and sealing provides for that date, sir, up to 6. However, we have also issued Comelec Resolution 10101, April 26, which provides for the contingency procedures, such that if the BEIs are unable to conduct the FTS during that period, they can still do it even on election day. So they could have done that between 6 and 9.
Teka, how about the other test? Yung sinabi mo, yung transmission, is that part of FTS?
No, sir.
Transmission, also separate.
Transmission diagnostic test is also under Resolution 10057, February 11, which is just to find out if transmission is okay and that there is a connection between the telcos.
And if
It only has a header. It does not contain any results. It only has the ID of the clustered precinct which attempted to transmit.
when should that be done?
It's on election day, sir. So,
On election day, are you sure?
transmission diagnostic.
Yes, former Commissioner Lim. Then ikaw na.
Your Honor, if you look at the FTS procedure compared to 2010 and 2013, no? In 2010 2013, when you had an FTS, you didn't have any transmission. One of the innovations in 2016 was it included, because of the low transmission rate in 2013, it included a transmission test, and that's part of the FTS, Your Honor. And it just sends a data packet containing the header of the precinct, so we will know. But it will not send to the CCS, but to the central server. So it's just a check, Your Honor, if at that level of the precinct, it can get connectivity.
Mr. Chair, ang tanong doon, kung yes, it's allowed in testing, ilan? Ilang beses magte-testing? Isang BCM. Papunta sa Municipal Board of Canvassers.
Isa lang po. Kung until magsabi na nag-succeed siya, titigil na po.
I'm presenting 458 for only one area in Bicol. Ang hinihingi namin, itong secure logs na to, ano laman ito? Ano laman itong mga tinransmit na ito na maaga ng May 8? What is, ano laman? Kung testing transmission yung 458, ano laman?
If I may, Your Honor. Your Honor, based on the logs, Your Honor, it would appear that the logs are just showing that they are searching for an address. No, they're not yet transmitting anything, Your Honor. It's a DNS search, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, may I request that my resource person be recognized, Attorney Glenn Chong.
Yes, Attorney Chong, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good morning, and thank you, Mr. Senate President. These slides, sir, is actually a comparison between the excerpts from the DNS log file, as shown by the privileged speech of Senator Soto, as compared to excerpts of the log file that was also provided by the Commission on Elections to the Senate Electoral Tribunal, which was obtained by subpoena. So if you will go over that, they actually match. It's a perfect match. The Commission on Elections does not have to go through line by line. Just look at certain sections of that. That one, for example, the white one, next slide please, that's a perfect match. The COMELEC can go over there and see word for word, line for line, and see if it is not a match. The black one is yung galing kay Senator Soto, Senate President Soto. The white one is from the SET as subpoena, submitted by the Commission on Elections. It's a match. So ibig pong sabihin, totoo po yung sinabi ni Senator Soto. Next slide please. That is also a match on another part of the same DNS logs shown by Senator Soto and excerpts from the COMELEC provided DNS log file. Next slide please. That one is from Senate President Soto. Next slide. That one is from the Commission on Elections. They can check it for themselves. Letter by letter, word for word, number by number, they match. Next slide, please. That is also from Senator Soto. Next slide, please. That is also from COMELEC, the first three and the last three. Now, kanina po, sinabi po ng COMELEC, ang palusot po nila, and I would like to ask your honors, if that is their final answer, that if these early transmissions are final testing and sealing, is that po the final answer of the COMELEC?
Mr. Chair, the witness is not supposed to ask questions here.
May I ask that question? Is that really? I'm adopting the question.
Thank you, sir.
Is it really the final answer?
In the meantime, let me acknowledge now the presence of Senator Binay. She's here with us. Thank you, Senator. What's the answer?
The person in charge of the transmission, sir, is Mr. Roderick Ilagan. May I ask him to respond to the question?
Sure, perhaps Mr. Ilagan can...
Mr. Ilagan, please
we can sit.
state also your designation in the and the Secretary will administer the oath to Mr. Ilagan.
Kindly raise your right hand. Kindly state your name,
I'm Roderick Ilagan,
position, and office.
Information Technology Officer of Commission on Election.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this proceeding?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Ilagan, may you answer the query that was posed to us by Attorney Chong?
The query is that, sir, if I may, the query is that whether it is a early transmission or an FPS. For us, sir, based on the logs that we have, that is the query of the FPS activity, because that's the only time the machine is querying to the server, that CCS Pilipinas, that's the name of the server, sir.
So, but your diagnostic test, di ba, it's different from the actual transmission. Di ba? Section 33 ito ng resolution niyo ba ito? O sa ano? FTS, no transmission will be performed. May we ask again, may we ask Attorney Chong again for the last question you were posing?
Sir, I was asking if these early transmissions, last final answer po ng COMELEC is final testing and sealing po ba? I'm only asking for an answer na yes or no.
Is it
final or not?
Or sealing?
Is it final testing and sealing or
secure
some
logs that I presented in my speech?
Based on the log, sir, I cannot determine if this is a final testing of sealing because it just says a query. It does not say a transmission yet, but a query on the network.
So, Attorney Chong.
Sir, ang ibig ko pong sabihin is pinanindigan po ba ng COMELEC na yung early transmissions are final testing and sealing? Yun lang naman po eh. Kasi ito lang yung sagot nila. That's final testing and sealing to explain na merong early transmissions. So I'm asking the COMELEC if that is their final answer po because I'm going to answer them
Well,
also.
obviously, that's the only answer that they could give because, yes.
Pangilinan, yes, just a clarification. Final testing is different from a query because the final testing, and my understanding is, a final testing actually means that it has reached the main frame or main computer from the precinct. Tama ba yun? Yun yung final testing. Pero pagka query pa lang, hindi pa siya umaabot sa nagtatanong pa lang siya. Tama ba yun? So these are two different things. The query that you're saying here, unless it reaches the headquarters, meaning nakakonect, yun, mayroong final transmission. Pero pag query pa siya, wala pang transmission na nangyayari. Tama ba yan?
Tama, sir.
So sa tanong niya, ito ba ay final testing? Ang sagot mo, kung ito ay umabot sa headquarters at na-transmit, yes, it's final testing. Pero kung ito ay query pa lamang at hindi pa umaabot sa headquarters, hindi pa nagtatransmit.
Correct, sir.
Thank you.
Sir,
Yes, Attorney Chong.
the DNS works this way po. The PICOS or the VCM, hindi po niya alam kung kanino po ipapadala yung resulta. Hindi po niya alam kung kanino ipapadala yung resulta. So, pupunta ho siya kay DNS server, which is a domain name system server, which acts as a directory assistance. Nagtatanong po siya, sino po ba ito si transmission code 1730? Kasi hindi ho alam ni makina, ni VCM, kung kanino ipapadala yung 1730. So, si DNS, ang magsasabi sa kanya, doon mo yan ipapadala sa ganitong munisipyo. Munisipyo A sa probinsya B. So, that's the second step for the machine. What we are looking at is the DNS server log, the first part po. So, ang question po ngayon, bakit may nagtatanong na po sa May 8 pa lang? Ang sagot po ng COMELEC, final testing and sealing yan. Kaya po, gusto ko pong malaman if it is a final answer nila, including Smartmatic, because noticeably Smartmatic is very silent, kasama po sila dyan, because pinanindigan nila na final and testing and sealing po ito, then I will counter them with my next slide, sir.
So, is it your final testing and sealing? These queries, these transmissions, queries as pointed out by Senator Pangilinan?
Good morning, sir. I believe these are final testing and sealing or diagnostic transmission results. The only way to assure that is to look at the logs of the VCMs, because as it's been stated, these are logs of the DNS, and it does not show any type of result being transmitted, sir.
Sir?
Yes, Attorney Chong.
That's exactly what I want to hear. Next slide, please. Yung FTS counter-argument.
Before that, Mr. Chair, may I know where the witness, Attorney Chong, is getting all of this data?
Sir, that's from the SET po.
From the
Senate Electoral Tribunal. Because
this
it was
was
subpoenaed, sir.
Subpoenaed.
Yes,
These
sir.
are the records subpoenaed by the SET from the COMELEC.
Yes, sir.
Submitted. So
Yes,
these
sir.
are records from the SET.
Yes, sir. Public records na po yan, sir.
Thank you.
FTS counter-argument. Sir, malinaw po, let me restrict, sinabi po ni Smartmatic, we have to look at the audit logs to find out if it is a final testing and sealing or it is a diagnostic test. Hindi po, yan, are not FTS. No. Previous. Ito po, yan. Is that the first slide po? Sir, okay. The early transmissions are not FTS. This is what I want to show to the honorable senators. Next slide, please. That is, the black one is from Senator Soto. It says excerpts from the DNS logs of SP Soto III. Then you compare that one with the excerpts from the DNS log file of the COMELEC as provided to the Senate Electoral Tribunal. They're a match. Transmission code 1730 refers to the municipality of Ragay, Camarines Sur. Next slide, please. Ito po yun, ang transmission code 1730 sa kay Senator Soto. Then the next one, rest po. 1730 also in the COMELEC log. Next slide, please. That is a list of all the audit logs. As Smartmatic is telling us, Your Honor, they all bear the code 1730. So iniisa-isa ko po yan. I spent several hours going over each of those audit logs. Next slide, please. It looks like that. That is the audit log. The record of all events, transactions, occurrences within the computer, within the VCM that is recorded in detail by the machine. So isa-isahin po natin, Your Honor. Please po. Makikita po natin that the system was shutting down on May 5. Then it was restarted on May 9. There was no transaction on May 8. Next slide, please. I'm showing you 10 examples out of 62 precincts. But I have already examined them. Isa-isa po, wala pong May 8. There was no transaction whatsoever on May It's all May 5. All testing and sealing occurred on May 5. And then the next time that the machine was switched on, it was already May 9. Wala pong May 9, wala pong May 8 yan. Therefore, that's why I was asking if this is a final answer of the Comelec and Smartmatic. And Smartmatic already said na dyan makikita sa audit log, and the audit log shows walang transmission. Walang buhay na makina in Ragay, Camarines Sur on May 8.
So,
next slide.
Ano nangyari dito? Smartmatic and Comelec, ano nangyari?
Before you answer, Attorney Chong.
Yes, sir.
So you did. So from the log in the DNS, you got a code which led you to the municipality of Ragay.
Camarines Sur, yes, sir.
But it did not give you the specific BCM. Which
no, sir.
So you analyzed
everything.
How many BCMs
62.
in Ragay? 62.
Yes, sir.
You analyze all
yes,
the logs?
I look for every one of them. So that's why I'm showing 10.
You're saying
yes.
all, huh?
Yes, all.
And then, yan, pattern. May 5,
May 5, May 9.
shutdown, May 9.
Yes, sir.
Reboot. Okay.
I'm showing 10 examples. Just for...
You just showed 10 examples,
yes,
but you examined 62.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's clear. So we need an explanation kung ganon.
Kasi sabi nila, it's a final answer, final testing and sealing, and it's their final answer. Now, we can show, walang makinang buhay on May 8. Now, sino ang nag-transmit?
Nasusundan na kita. How?
Yes, sir.
Ko na.
Next slide, please. Next slide, please.
The Senate President has a question to the Comelec to answer.
Next slide, please.
Okay, who can answer, please? Di ba may tanong ka? May tanong ka?
Yes. Sino yung nagpadala ng transmission ng May 8?
Ayos na namin.
Thank you.
Sir,
yes.
Sir, may we be allowed to verify all the statements because Attorney Chong says there is no transmission on May 8, but the Senate President says there is.
No, yes. Who? That's why we're asking who.
That's why, sir. So may we be allowed to verify first because I think the most important thing here, Your Honors, is to find out where the transmissions or did the transmission send any result to the CCS.
Right. Let me, Mr. Executive Director, let me cut you there. No, I need to place into the records also some information that I gathered, and you can verify later on. It seems that you will have to do a lot of investigation here. There are allegations that there were fake or cloned machines that was used in 2016. And these were the ones that were transmitting.
So it was not part of the subpoena?
Merong ganung claim. No, I'm not saying that that comes from me. Kaya siguro baka may sasagot kayo.
So hindi yun...
Kung saan nanggaling yung mga transmissions ng May 8?
Submitted this? Huh?
Okay, sir, we will verify that allegation, sir.
All right, I'll accept that for now. Now, yes, another point before I move on to another point, Attorney Chong, yes?
Yes, Your Honor, I would just like to place this in the right perspective. Sinabi po ni Executive Director Tolentino, the issue is kung may pumasok po na resulta. That's wrong. The issue here is bakit may nagtatransmit when there is supposed to be no transmission at all on those days. Yun po, mali na po yung labag sa batas. Labag po yun sa protocols nila. It's not about whether may votes na pumasok or hindi. Ang question is, may nag-attempt, whether it's an attempt or not, it is already a violation, Your Honor.
All right. Yes, sir.
Yes, Senator Bangli. I just want to be clarified. Late transmissions are illegal? Is that what you're saying? That any, or early, sorry. There is a period of transmission allowed. My understanding is the testing is May 2 to 6. May 2 to 6, dyan ang testing. So may mga testing transmission yan. Beyond that, nahuli. Ibig sabihin, lumampas na ng May 6, ibig sabihin, hindi na pumasok doon sa deadline. So late. Yung bang late na yun, hirap. Yung late, dahil lampas na sa May 6, illegal ba yun?
Hindi po. Allowed siya ng COMELEC Reso 10101. Di ba? Tama po
Kasi
ba yan?
ang sinasabi, that is against the law. Yung lumampas sa May 6, tama ba yun? Against the law ba yun? Kasi,
No, sir. That is
parang
not.
bakit ka pa nagtatransmit kung tapos na yung transmission period? Di ba? Dapat wala nang transmission. Tama? Bakit merong mga transmission ng May 8? Yun, illegal yun. Yung ba yung sinasabi mo? That's against the law.
No, sir. With respect to final testing and sealing that exceeds beyond May 6, hindi siya illegal. What I'm trying to point out is that when you cannot trace any particular machine as having actually sent it, that becomes illegal because you cannot pinpoint anymore. These are not legitimate machines. The ones that is producing this in Ragay in particular is not a legitimate one because all the 62 were testing and sealing on May 5. There was no transaction whatsoever on May 8. They went back alive only on May 9 in the morning. But the DNS log, the directory service that they had used, may natanggap siyang query on May 8. On May 8, na nagtatanong, sino po ito si 1730? So that's make it illegal and questionable. Highly questionable, Your Honor. That's my point, sir. And besides, sir, yung sinasabi po nilang testing na transmission, sir, if you will look at the audit logs, merong mga nag-a-attempts po ng transmission, pero most of them, hindi po talaga transmission, testing lang po ng signal.
So as mentioned by COMELEC, there are, and you allowed it, testing and transmissions even before May 9. Diba? May 8, pinayagan yan, testing transmission. So, kasama sa mga hinihiling namin sa inyo, may we now ask you to submit to us copies of municipalities who conducted FTS or testing transmissions in the wee hours of May 8 and May 9. May mga nag-conduct, di ba? So submit nyo sa amin, sino-sino yung mga nag-conduct na yan. So with that, may I move on to another topic of my previous speech? Oh yes.
Senator Drilon?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Well, may I address this question to the COMELEC? Attorney Chong said that he got this record from the records of the COMELEC as subpoenaed by the SET. Now, is that that's on the record? Now, was the logs from Ragay Camarines Sur submitted to the SET? To this SET? Was it?
Yes, sir. Complete, sir.
No. What it was submitted to the Senate Electoral Tribunal or to the Presidential Electoral Tribunal?
To the SET, Your Honor.
To the SET.
Yes, sir. We were issued a SET.
Why to the SET? Was that part of the protest of Tolentino to regarding?
Yes, sir. Tolentino and Telima, sir.
Okay.
Your Honor, if I may. Attorney Lim, I think when Attorney Chong was pointing out the logs, he just said that one half of that part came from the SET. Now, I don't know where the other half came from. He said to compare the two and it will match. So maybe if you can ask Attorney Chong where the other half came from.
Okay, can you respond to that, Attorney Chong?
Sir, he may have not understood me or he was not listening to me. I was referring
Please,
to...
Mr. Chong,
I'm sorry.
Stop the insults,
Yes,
all right? Only senators are allowed to insult here.
What I'm referring to... Thank you, sir. Thank
Not a
you.
witness, okay?
What I'm trying to point out is that the DNS, that's only one half. That's what I'm showing here, sir. The other half would be, you may look at the audit logs, which will complete the entire picture. That's what I meant, sir. Hindi ho yung literally hinati ko yung log, tapos pinakita ko yung half at hindi naman yung the other half. No, what I'm referring to is the different systems.
I guess questions are raised here because you are known to be the counsel of Bongbong Marcos,
No,
and therefore your
No,
views
sir.
here might be. What
For
you,
the record, sir, I don't.
Are you not the counsel of
No,
Bongbong
sir.
Marcos? But you
No,
have represented Bongbong Marcos in the proceedings before the PET.
No, sir.
Oh,
No,
come
sir.
on.
No, sir. Honestly.
I have here a letter of Attorney Garcia, counsel for Mr. Marcos, who mentions you as one of the representatives, alternate representative. This is a letter
Sir.
addressed to the COMELEC on March 17, 2007.
Sir, they can review the logs there of the CCTV if they have found my soul there. Wala po ako doon, sir. My name was just there, but I never went there.
I'm looking at
Yes, sir. I'm not denying that. It may be there, but I never went to the SET, not PET.
No, but yes, I did
not for
say
any
that
instance.
that you went to the SET. I'm just saying that you are nominated as a representative of Bongbong
I may have been
Marcos.
nominated, but I didn't accept the nomination, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At any rate, ganito, no? The claim of Attorney Chong is that the data in his PowerPoint came from submissions to the set by the COMELEC of the logs of the DNS. You will have time to double check his statement. If he is found to be not accurate or misleading, as we will sanction him. Kaya may time po kayo. Kaya alam ni Atty. Chong yun. So malakas ang loob niya. So you will have time when you go back to the office to double check. Kayang-kaya niyo double check yun. Andali, may 8, may oras pa. 5 p.m. yata yun or something like that. Okay? Then you tell us kung mali o hindi.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Santos. Okay. Just to...
We've been listening in on a live Senate hearing regarding the election issues. This was presided by Senator Coco Pimentel. He's the chair of the Electoral Reforms and the People's Participation Committee. Also with him is Senate President Tito Sotto III and Senator Franklin Drilon. Now, we've heard from Jose Tolentino Jr., Executive Director of the COMELEC. We've also heard from Roderick Ilagan, IT Officer of the COMELEC. We've also heard from Attorney General Chong from Tanggulang Demokrasya. Now, the questions posed to them and their answers have centered around the early transmissions in the 2016 elections as the senators continue to probe alleged irregularities. Now, they're doing so in order to really cast away the doubts regarding the legitimacy of the previous 2016 elections. This as they pave the way for the 2019 elections. Now, a point of contention has been the early transmission of votes. Now, the Board of Canvassers should have convened starting 3 p.m. on May 9th, 2006, but as early as May 8th, 2016, there was already a transmission of activity. Now, early transmission continued until the morning of May 9th, which was still prior to the official conduct of the actual elections. So they're trying to get the bottom of what went on there. Now, keep it here on ANC. News Now continues at 11. Good morning, I'm Mikey Oreta with the stories making news now. 10 people are killed after a van exploded at a military